Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is V-2, volume of cones. We'll start by taking a look at question 1C. What is the volume of these cones given your answer, rounded to the nearest 1/100ths, and in exact form? So we'll start by taking a look at the formula for the volume of a cone. It's V equals 1/3 pi times r squared times h. And if we take a look at the picture, we'll see what information we're given that we can plug into that formula. So we can see that the height is given to us of 5 millimeters. And since this dotted line only goes halfway across the base, we know that that's our radius of 2 millimeters. So knowing the radius and the height, we can plug those into that formula. So we have V equals 1/3 pi, 2 to the second power, times 5. Now the first thing we're going to find is the exact form. And when looking for the exact form, we could ignore pi for a moment and simply deal with the numbers that we have here and multiply them together. So we can do 2 times 2 to the second power, and we can do that times 5, and then times 1/3. And what that's going to get us is 20 over 3. We can bring the pi over, and then we can say, well, 20 over 3 as an improper fraction would be changed to 6 2/3 pi millimeters cubed. In order to get the rounded answer, we have to plug this whole thing into the calculator. So we're going to do 1/3 pi times 2 to the second power times 5. And that's going to get us a full calculator display of 20.94395102. From there, we can then find the rounded answer. Remember, we're rounding to the nearest hundredths in this particular problem, and that's going to get us 20.94 millimeters cubed. Question number 5, it says the highway department stores sand in piles that are approximately the shape of a cone. What is the volume of a pile of sand if the diameter of the base is 7 yards and the height is 8 yards? I made a quick sketch of that, showing the height 8 yards, and in this case it said the diameter of the base was 7 yards, which means we need half of that for our radius. So our radius is going to be 3.5 yards, our height's going to be 8 yards, and we can plug those things into the formula, and so that's going to get us V equals 1/3 pi times 3.5 to the second power times 8. Now, in this particular kind of problem, we don't need to get an exact answer, but we do need to get a rounded answer. So we have to plug the entire set of information into the calculator, and that's going to get us a full calculator display of 102.62536. From there, we can round the answer, and we can say that the volume is approximately 102.6 cubic yards, or yards cubed. In this problem, we don't need to go to hundredths. If it's not asked to go that far, generally speaking, tenths is fine. And then we can take the information that we got and put that into a sentence. The volume of the pile of sand is approximately 102.6 cubic yards. Now let's take a look at question number 6. The volume of a cone is 127 cubic inches, and the height of the cone is 6 inches. What is the radius of the base to the nearest tenth? So I made a diagram to show what we know. We know the height is 6 inches. We know the overall volume is 127 inches cubed. We'll start by plugging the volume and the height into the problem. So 127 equals 1/3 pi r squared times 6. We can then set this up so that the 6 is a fraction, and that would enable us to then cross product, which is going to get rid of this 3 and turn that into a 2. The 2 can then be brought over in front of the pi like this, so we get 127 equals 2 pi r squared. We can divide by 2 pi on both sides, and that's going to get us a full calculator display of 20.2126, and the 7 is going to be repeating. We then, in order to find out what r is, we have to take the square root of that number, which gives us a full calculator display of 4.495850309. And knowing that we need to round to the nearest tenth, the 9 is going to bump the 4 up to a 5. So we can say the radius of the cone is about 4.5 inches. Please use the problems that were done for you tonight to help you solve the additional problems that you have on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.